Hey everyone, it's Yggdrasiel, and today's video is going to be a brief one, but it is in no way, shape, or form one to disregard. Earlier this week, back on the 4th of August, Monolith Soft posted on their social media accounts that they are recruiting for new positions for a new RPG. Now you may wonder, what is so special about this? Monolith Soft regularly posts recruitment adverts for their teams on an almost monthly basis. Well, there are actually a few main points that are very important and make this post quite interesting indeed. We've got a bit to talk about, but just before we dive right in, as a reminder, if you enjoy this video, please by all means leave it a like, let me know what you think down below, and subscribe for more Monolith Soft, Nintendo, and general RPG content. Every little thing truly does help in making this channel grow just a little bit more, and I always greatly appreciate it. Now with that out of the way, let's get stuck in. First things first is the elephant in the room. With rough translation, we can see that Monolith Soft is recruiting new development staff for a brand new RPG directed under Tetsuya Takahashi. While there is some back and forth between translators, it seems that there is a general agreement that Takahashi-san himself is going to actually be doing the directing, rather than only doing so under an executive position. If this is the case, this means that Takahashi won't only just be approving or rejecting progress points from an office, but will also be on the ground floor working along with various departments and individuals. Takahashi-san has only ever been the director for 2 games in the past, those being Xenogears and Xenosaga 1, so to potentially see him apprise even greater involvement in his capacity as a director could be a very interesting sight indeed. But that's not all. You may have caught on to the words new RPG. At this point, I would now like to read for you some excerpts from an expertly translated version of this news post. This translation is found on the Xenomira website by author Luca Banda, which I provided a link to in the information section down below. It reads, "This is Takahashi from Monolith Soft. This is recruitment for Monolith Soft's Production Division 1 development staff, which is something we haven't done in a while. While I can't get into the specifics here, the genre will be new RPG title. For the new RPG title, we're taking on more new challenges that we have with Monolith Soft titles up to this point. The reason for this recruitment stems from our need to have many talented colleagues, as what we require to create obviously continues to become more complex. For sake of convenience, we've limited the number of recruitment roles to 8, but in general, we are searching from all fronts." On the screen right now are those 8 positions then, found at the bottom of the translation. They are for 2D designer, specifically a lead artwork staff position, 3D computer graphic designers for both characters and maps, a development environment engineer, which is for software programming, a field level designer, which is responsible for overworld design, assistant director, in-game animator, and an effects designer. So quite a few important roles, especially that field level designer for something that's going to come up soon. Let's continue. Monolith Soft has been creating titles with a relatively small amount of people compared to its scale. This is no doubt something to be proud of, but it's difficult to keep relying on that in this video game industry landscape. This right here is a very true statement. Even when Monolith Soft opened its second studio in Kyoto back in 2011, there were less than 100 staff in all. That number has almost tripled as of December of 2023, where they provided company statistics and revealed that they currently have about 264 members of staff between their 2 respective teams. As a quick side note for those unaware, Monolith Soft functions as 2 teams. The first is their primary RPG team, spearheaded by Takahashi himself, while Team 2 is a support team set up to aid in other projects. While the former works on the Xenoblade series of games, the latter helps to buffer up series such as Splatoon, Animal Crossing, and of course The Legend of Zelda. There have also been times where the members of one team are conscripted into the other to assist as needed, the most notoriously well-known example of which is of course the Xenoblade Chronicle 2 production cycle, where the majority of staff were pulled on in to help on other projects such as Breath of the Wild, and leaving less than 50 dedicated developers on Team 1 to finish Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That goes to show just how talented many of those working at Monolith Soft are to be able to pull off releasing a game with such a small headcount. Though many of us certainly do remember the problems that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 released with, but it was otherwise endearing nonetheless. And it's in the hopes of ensuring that such a situation never arises again, that is why Monolith Soft has fervently been recruiting for talent all the while. Moving on, in meeting the heightening expectations of our customers, another important thing is to have various insights and the ability to connect those laterally. The role-playing genre is one in which the mechanics of fields, combats, characters, side quests, story, etc. are all closely interconnected. This is doubly true with open-world style titles, which have become commonplace now. And this is an exceedingly true statement to make right here when we remember that it was Monolith Soft that created the first open-world Nintendo game with Xenoblade Chronicles X. This is also a very important remark to give. The special mention of pursuing open world style could very well indicate that this new RPG is going to take the format of an open world style game. Could this perhaps allude to this new RPG title being the highly anticipated Xenoblade Chronicles X2, or could it be the telling of the original Xenoblade Chronicles X script, which was ultimately scrapped in favor of a game with multiplayer capability as a focal point? From there on out, there are a few more lines which are ultimately closing statements, once again requesting for new talent in the hopes of creating a new title and a new organization together. And all's well that ends well. One final point that I would like to take some time to address is simply due to the fact that this is recruitment for a new RPG. If we take into account the leaks from a now highly disgraced but still accurate leaker, a game with the internal project codename Legacy has been in development for some time, leading many to speculate that a Xenoblade Chronicles X port was possibly on its way to the Switch successor. If Legacy and this new RPG are the same, however, I highly doubt that it could simply just be a port. Perhaps Team 2 could be responsible for a port while Team 1 works on a successive title. But if you ask me, my mind just races back to the elusive artworks released during a recruitment window years and years ago, which has now curiously disappeared from their recruitment page. We only have a few pieces of artwork that were relevant to that recruitment window, chiefly this one here before you of a caped warrior donning blue armor with the iconic red hue resting not only on the armor itself, but also displayed upon the sheath of the sword itself. Another variant of this artwork also presents with a pure red wyvern soaring the skies overhead. The other two primary pieces of promotional artwork, which are lesser known but still highly relevant, show a knight resting with his sword firmly planted next to him as he gazes at this seemingly abandoned place of worship, with full armor and again adorned with a cape of red. But it's the last of the three pieces of artwork that really pique my interest, especially when we consider Takahashi's statements referencing open-world RPGs. Here we see a crossbow-wielding woman in a crimson-red tunic standing alongside her partner, a horned four-legged beast, as they cast their attention over this gorgeous landscape before them, of large piercing landmasses looming over an oceanside grand city, with multiple waterways reaching from one landmass to another. On a personal note, the first time I saw this, my mind raced to the jutting overhead geology of the Bionis leg, and initially thought this was a world centuries after the events of Xenoblade Chronicles 1. While highly unlikely given what we now know post Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I'd still like to believe that Bionis leg held some inspiration when this was created. I am getting a bit ahead of myself, however, but I do hope that you can all at least see the connection I'm trying to make between this promotional artwork and Takahashi's recent open world statement in mind. Could those images perhaps be the inspiration for a new setting we'll see in Xenoblade Chronicles 4? The older high fantasy settings are a good bit different than anything we've seen in any of the Monolith Soft titles, but it would be quite interesting to see how Team 1 could tackle such a scenario. And let's be honest, any game that they will make will ultimately delve into the existential sci-fi side that we've all come to appreciate from Monolith Soft over the years anyway. But with all that said, we have actually reached the end of this video. Do you think we are looking at the makings of Xenoblade Chronicles 4? Perhaps something Xenoblade Chronicles X related, or maybe a new Xeno IP entirely? Please feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Leave this video a like if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing for more Monolith Soft coverage as it happens. But for now, I hope you all have a great day.